the jungles of Central America, some of the deadliest predators are masters of disguise.
From above or behind, the hooded mantis looks just like a leaf. But if you're prey and it's rearing above you about ready to strike, it looks more like a king cobra, and its bite is just as deadly.
Not only is it invisible, the hooded mantis makes other bugs disappear. Like all good spies, the hooded mantis excels at surveillance. Two huge compound eyes give the mantis stereoscopic vision and excellent view to a kill. It also deploys two extra-long antennae, each lined with tens of thousands of highly sensitive chemoreceptors. Free of debris, they pick up the faintest enemy transmission.
The antennae are constantly detecting chemical and physical information, especially when the mantis is sizing up an opponent or prey. This is particularly important when it reaches that stage where the mantis can't risk taking their eyes off the opponent in case they suddenly launch an attack of their own.
And its trademark move is always shaken, not stirred.
The mantis uses strange rocking and shuddering as part of its behavioral camouflage repertoire. This helps disguise it as a flickering leaf and makes it hard to focus on. It'll use this tactic even while doing tiny little steps towards its victim.
But the real threat are the legs themselves. Long raptorial limbs are lined with dagger-like spikes, sharp enough to puncture human skin.
The entire prey capture strategy of mantids revolves around remaining invisible to their targets, striking out of nowhere, pinning their prey with their spiked arms, and then delivering a series of killer bites.
A katydid is an armored fighter who also kills for a living. But the hooded mantis has no trouble taking it down.
That is a textbook raptorial arm lock. The katydid has absolutely no way of fighting back.
Super sharp mandibles, like the teeth of a great white, gouge the victim's head. And when the katydid's dangerous rear legs keep kicking, they are removed with clinical precision.
This is a harsh lesson in monster bug indignity. If you struggle against a mantis, you're probably gonna end up in pieces before you die.
But the hooded mantis is being tailed by an equally ruthless enemy agent. This skulking assassin is one of the world's most proficient killers.
Wandering spiders are generalist predators, which means that they'll basically catch anything that they're capable of taking down. These are creepy spiders.
The Brazilian wandering spider takes no prisoners.
These guys have a really nasty venom. It actually kills a number of humans every year.
Her powerful body and long legs are covered in dense hair. Each one is a sensor, picking up tiny vibrations, even changes in airflow, which she uses to lethal effect. A katydid is in the wrong place at the wrong time. Its only hope is to sneak by unnoticed.
This katydid is trying to walk by the spider, pretend like it's blowing in the wind or that it's debris, that it isn't a living animal. But The spider is completely aware of exactly what it is and is going to go after it.
Eventually, the spider makes its move. Not with blinding speed, but like a slowly grasping hand. Venom strong enough to kill a child brings instant death.
The Brazilian wandering spider is considered to have the most potent venom of any spiders in the world. The venom contains a combination of neurotoxins that affect the way the nervous system works, and it causes a great deal of tissue damage.
Now, digestive enzymes turn the katydid into green gumbo. But what happens when the Brazilian wandering spider meets its Cold War counterpart, the hooded mantis?
Either one of these animals has the strength and the weapons to win this.
These two ruthless agents share one creed: live and let die. In a seemingly peaceful Central American rainforest, a camouflaged hooded mantis is on an undercover assignment. A Brazilian wandering spider is also on a mission to kill. The mantis' spiked limbs and super sharp mandibles are more than a match for the spider's deadly fangs and super powerful venom. The two stone-cold assassins come face to face. So close, they're actually touching.
So now the wandering spider and the hooded mantis are in contact with each other, but it really is who moves the fastest and where they attack.
The spider backs off, wary. In a battle like this, there is no margin for error. The hooded mantis tries its favorite bluff.
The praying mantis is hoping that its shuddering motion will let it get close to the spider without it recognizing that it has an opponent.
But the spider isn't fooled. Like a Hollywood fight scene, the enemy agents are locked together in a precarious battle. The mantis is in the perfect position. Its mandibles could rip open the spider's belly. But it's too late. Like poison-tipped umbrellas, the spider's fangs puncture the mantis' thorax. Deadly neurotoxins flood the mantis' body. Within seconds, vital organs begin shutting down. The prospect of a massive feast has the spider's digestive juices flowing. Massive daggers slash the body to pieces. And it's sucked up like a mantis martini.
So the king cobra of the mantids goes down. But you can't say he didn't score points for bravery.
All that will be left is the mantid's hood, discarded like a dead spy's trench coat. One of them will be down for the count. The slender-necked mantis has all the moves and the killer instinct of a cage fighter.
This animal wouldn't be out of place in a round of ultimate fight. It can pull combination moves that wouldn't be legal anywhere outside the bug world.
In the blink of an eye, long raptorial arms lined with needle-like knuckle dusters, land killer punches.
The muscles that control the mantis's raptorial strike are very strong and incredibly fast. In fact, they can do 2 strikes in the time it would take a housefly just to prepare its wings for takeoff.
This slender weight is built like a natural-born fighter. Its elongated neck allows the head to rotate 180 degrees. Its huge compound eyes are constantly peeled for prey.
It all comes down to movement for them. This is what attracts them, and they can see movement from a long way off.
Waiting for prey, the slender-neck stays out of trouble by shadowboxing, shuffling, ducking, and weaving.
Mantis also employ 2 weird behavioral forms of camouflage. The first is to sway back and forth like a leaf in the wind, but the second is to disguise its footsteps with jerky, irregular motions while sneaking up on a prey item.
Its ultra-trim physique belies an insatiable appetite. Put simply, this mantis is an eating machine.
Don't mistake skinny for puny. This mantis can take on hard-hitting opponents and win, and it has a huge appetite. How it maintains that trim little figure, it's beyond me.
An approaching cockroach doesn't see the sucker punch coming.
Her capacity to hang on would put any rock climber to shame. She's gripping that leaf with just 8 tiny little claws, yet even when the cockroach struggles, she has no problems maintaining her foothold.
With its victim under control, the mantis really puts the hurt on.
Once the mantis has grabbed its prey, it typically pins the most troublesome parts inside of its raptorial arms, while it then goes in with the mandibles to try to do as much damage as possible. Typically, it'll go straight for the head, and once that's gone, kind of removes the will to fight back.
Then something extraordinary happens. With its head in the mantis' mouth, the cockroach gives birth to a squirming swarm of instant orphans. As one life ebbs away, 20 more crawl into the world.
Well, if you've ever bought into the notion that everything natural is warm and fuzzy, this should put an end to it. In the wild, survival is a struggle from day one.
That struggle is about to get nasty. The bronzed Huntsman spider is another hard-hitting hunter, always looking for a fight.
Huntsmen are ambush predators. They basically are willing to hunt on the ground or in the trees and wait until prey passes by. And then they lunge at it fast, scoop it up in their arms, and then tear it apart with their strong fangs.
Like all huntsman spiders, this prize spider hugs the surface. Its legs hinge not vertically, but laterally.
Most spiders stand upright, but what the huntsmen have done is what would be dorsal has rotated so the legs are laterally oriented. And this lateral orientation means that they're able to scuttle sideways very rapidly.
The bronzed huntsman has 8 eyes, arranged in 2 rows of 4. But this street fighter hunts less by eyesight and more from the faintest telltale movements of air.
Huntsman legs are covered with sensors that are very, very attuned to vibrations.
A moth's slightest movement is like a bell ringing for round 1. Unfortunately for the moth, the bronzed huntsman also has a prize fighter's chin.
Huntsmen have big, strong chelicera, and they're really able to grab prey, pierce strong exoskeletons, and then tear it to pieces.
At the same time, digestive juices, like acid, liquefy the moth's insides. When she's through, all that's left is some fuzz around the fangs. It will pay to keep her weapons well-oiled. This champion has a challenger. When the slender-necked mantis and the bronzed huntsman enter the ring, the loser faces sudden death. In the bug world, every night is fight night. Each bout carries the ultimate prize purse, survival. The bronzed huntsman and the slender-necked mantis are both unbeaten champions. The huntsman has huge fangs and potent venom. The mantis bristles with deadly spikes and rips opponents to pieces with razor-sharp mandibles. Who will survive this fight? Both bugs are locked eye to eye in a monster stare down. The mantis makes the first move, advancing boldly up the leaf.
That is real commitment. But whether it's brave or foolish,
With its guard up, the mantis is rocked by a lightning 1-2 combination. The bronzed huntsman looks to up the ante. The mantis neatly sidesteps. The sparring continues. Then the mantis gambles on a full frontal assault. As tactics go, it's not what you call inspired. The mantis finds its slender body bent over backwards, gripped in a killer clinch. With no referee to call break, the huntsman's fangs plunge like daggers into the mantis' thorax.
Often, spiders will directly try to orient toward the head of its potential prey because this takes it out lots faster than if it nips the back end or nips a leg.
The mantis refuses to throw in the towel, biting and grabbing its opponent's pedipalp with a sharp-toothed arm.
That has gotta hurt. These pedipalps are really sensitive, and the spider is gonna be in real trouble if it manages to rip these pedipalps off. So it's injecting venom as fast as it possibly can.
this final struggle might be a great display of courage in the face of certain death, but I'm afraid it's too little, too late.
This former champion won't be getting off the canvas.
No doubt, the bronze huntsman deserved a gold medal, or in this case, green.
The huntsman settles down to enjoy her trophy. But this isn't over. An ant swarm wants its share. There's no stopping them. The champion abandons her victory feast. After all, there are plenty more meals on her fight card tonight. It's power versus patience. In the depths of an equatorial jungle, a million-strong colony of leafcutter ants is busy farming the rainforest. Each worker focused on the production of fungus.
Leafcutter ants are really the farmers of the animal world. They cut vegetation that they then grow fungus on. So the ants actually live off of the fungus, not the plants.
They might be peaceful, But you aggravate these agrarian ants at your peril. At the first sign of trouble, you find yourself face to face with a leafcutter soldier.
There's got to be constant guarding of the colony so that they don't get attacked, both foraging lines and the colony itself. You don't mess with a leafcutter ant soldier.
These hulking warrior ants dwarf the workers. Their bodies are protected by tough armor. The massive bulbous head supports some of the ant world's most fearsome weapons. Strong, hardened mandibles, powerful enough to pierce human skin, crush and slice.
Look at those mandibles. They really act like chainsaws. If you want a leaf cut up, you call a worker. If you want another animal cut up, you call the soldier.
A party of invading trapjaw ants has ventured too far into leafcutter territory. Workers alert the troops.
Leafcutter ants make a surprising diversity of sounds and vibrations that they use to communicate among themselves by rubbing various body parts together.
Dispatched to deal with the interlopers, the leafcutter soldier launches a withering attack. Its enormous mandibles clamp down.
Although the soldier is wiggling its abdomen around, it doesn't have formic acid, it doesn't have a sting. However, its mandibles are so strong that it's literally able to take control of the situation.
Ordinarily, trapjaws are ferocious fighters, but against the soldiers, they don't stand a chance. Intruders are systematically torn apart.
As you can see, cutting this trapjaw ant in half was no more trouble than the workers cutting leaves in half.
Trapjaw body parts litter the leaves. It's an awesome display of brute strength and single-minded savagery. But not every fighter in this neck of the woods relies on size and raw power. Small and delicate, the speckled house spider seems like an unlikely serial killer.
You might think that something called a house spider isn't up to the task of surviving in a forest full of dangerous creatures. But let me tell you, this spider is more than capable of surviving encounters that would send others home in tears.
This relative of the black widow and redback is built for life on the web. Her long, spindly legs are agile enough to navigate her silken web like a tightrope walker. The speckled house spider is a sit-and-wait predator, happy just to hang at home and let her untidy web do all the work.
It might look like the result of lousy housekeeping, but that chaotic tangle of lines is actually a very effective way of catching prey. It's extremely strong and also laced with lots of globules of liquid silk, so that anything that ventures onto the web or even brushes a single trip line can quickly find itself entangled and in a fight for its life.
Before her next hunt begins, she decides to change for dinner. Slipping out of her skin into something more comfortable.
The spider's hardened outer skin is literally an external skeleton, and because it doesn't stretch while she grows, she may shed it 5 to 7 times throughout her life. This process is called ecdysiasm. In a lot of ways, it's almost like a rebirth. However, it leaves the spider in a temporarily vulnerable and defenseless position.
It will take a while for her new skin to harden. But the speckled house spider had better be ready. The leafcutter ant soldier, fresh from its victory over the trapjaw ant, is on its way. What happens when the mighty warrior and the silky assassin get caught in a web of intrigue?
Granted, she's probably not going to be in a hurry to get too close, but if he stumbles onto her web, he's going to be in for a rude shock.
A leafcutter ant soldier, alone on patrol, is just inches away from a speckled house spider's silken trap. One false step, and there will be war. The leafcutter ant soldier has size and strength, with powerful mandibles to cut and crush. The speckled house spider uses silk and venom to overcome the enemy. Which strategy will prevail? The leafcutter soldier suddenly finds itself in a sticky situation.
We already know that this soldier can cut an opponent in two. But when she's gotten caught in this web, she's really on shaky ground.
The speckled house spider doesn't move. With an intruder this large and dangerous, she's happy to play the waiting game. The ant tries to chew through its bonds, but succeeds only in becoming more entangled. Finally, choosing her moment, the spider descends and starts throwing thread.
Whatever she does, the house spider must avoid those jaws. Just one snip could open her up like a bursting water balloon.
Then, moving incautiously, she delivers a toxic kiss, narrowly avoiding the ant's slashing jaws. But this battle isn't over. Prey this large will need more than one dose. Again and again, the spider dances with death, ducking the gnashing mandibles to inject more venom. She retreats and waits again. Killing time, while her potent chemical cocktail finishes off this soldier of misfortune. In a monster bug war, no matter how formidable your weapons, it pays to fight battles on your home turf.
You know, I think this is just a classic case of the bigger they are, the harder they fall. End of story.
It's a case of now you see it, now you die. With her wicked spikes and splashy war paint, the spiny spider is one prickly customer.
These spines are really effective. If you touch them, they're really hard and sharp. These are tough, strong little spiders.
At her rear, enormous twin spikes, black-tipped and hardened, form a vicious V-shape. On her back, multiple spikes sprout like devil's horns. For a web dweller, they're the perfect defensive weapons for warding off aerial attackers.
Imagine if you're a bird and you go in, you attack a spider, grab it, and the spines hit the roof of your mouth. This is an anti-predator defense against birds and other mammals with soft palates.
The spiny spider is an orb weaver who stays at home to hunt in a circular web just a few feet off the ground. A trapped horsefly poses no problems for this predator, except maybe for some short-term dizziness.
It's struggling very strongly, kicking and shaking and trying to get out of the web. But the spider is a tough little devil, and what she does is she'll dart in, bite it, and start wrapping the prey up.
Large chelicerae and fangs don't just inject venom. They're serious weapons, able to crush and mangle. Not far from that scene of carnage, another assassin hides out in the open.
The crab spider is a master of subterfuge. Her entire strategy is to be like wallpaper, to blend into the background.
Mottled markings and a gnarled body make the crab spider all but invisible to other bugs. This well-disguised warmonger wastes no energy, remaining motionless until the right moment.
That's a classic crab spider ambush, just sitting motionless, not moving a muscle, until the prey is in range and then grabbing in the one and only movement.
The crab spider and her spiky neighbor might never cross paths. But today, the spiny spider has decided to start demolishing her own web.
At dawn, they start putting up their web, and at dusk, they'll take their web down. And this is largely to replace the glue.
The unwanted web won't go to waste. She devours it, strand by silken strand.
They eat the silk, digest it, and are able to recycle the proteins. 80% get recycled and reused in the next web.
But until she builds a new web, she's exposed and vulnerable. What happens when she runs into a cleverly concealed executioner? In the undergrowth, a spiny spider searches for a suitable spot to build a new web, unaware that a crab spider is waiting on a chance to strike. The spiny spider has large chelicerae and long fangs that crush. The crab spider has powerful front legs for grabbing prey and fangs for dispensing lethal venom. Which spider will reign supreme? Separated from her silk fortress, practically blind, the spiny spider is at her weakest.
She's not picking up all the vibrations from her web that give her an enormous amount of information.
But the crab spider is perfectly positioned, camouflaged against the branch, waiting for a victim to walk into her trap.
That's the power of sitting still in the bug world. While the other animals aren't noticing you, you're conserving your strength in order to be able to kill them.
The spiny spider walks straight into an ambush.
This crab spider is the master of the ultimate fighting leg lock, and the spiny spider certainly has plenty for her to grab onto.
The crab spider's muscular forelegs wrap around those huge rear spikes. The The spiny spider struggles to break free as her enemy probes for a kill shot.
Her exoskeleton is really very hard and hard to break through. She isn't easy to bite in the right place.
Finally, the tiny daggers puncture the outer shell. Venom starts to flow. At the other end, the spiny spider's own fangs, normally such vicious and effective weapons, stab blindly.
The crab spider's venom normally takes prey down reasonably quickly, but the spiny spider is certainly hanging on much longer than usual. The crab spider, however, is more than strong enough to keep a hold until it pumps enough venom in to kill the spiny spider.
If she'd been in her web, she could have taken down that crab spider. But outside of her web, she was really in a bad situation.
Even before the spiny spider succumbs, her attacker starts to feast. Slowly, methodically, the spiny spider has the life sucked out of her. It's the mother of all battles. It has all the appearances of a routine night in the rainforest. A rufous comb-footed spider moves into a new neighborhood. The burden she carries is her egg sac, bulging with the next generation.
Each of these egg sacs may have anywhere from 20 to 150 eggs.
Deciding a dead leaf will make a good home and nursery, the mother-to-be leaves the sac dangling by a silk thread and starts building her new web. With her eggs secure at the top of her new home, her killer instincts kick in again. A wandering termite is the first victim of her deadly silk combing skills.
The comb-footed spider doesn't try to bite the prey until it's really securely wrapped up in the silk straitjacket. And then, once it's wrapped up, she'll come in for a bite. Then she'll hoist the prey up into her web, and there she can feed on it at her own leisure.
As she settles down to dinner, marauding ants crash her housewarming feast. Fearing the ants will make a meal of her eggs, the comb-foot's maternal instinct kicks in. She goes on the attack. Her needle-like fangs administer a venomous coup de grace. Her eggs are safe for now, but the night isn't over. Nearby, another silk specialist is on the move. And far from welcoming the new kids on the block, she'll be spitting with rage.
The spitting spider has venom glands to produce silk as well as venom. So the concoction this girl sprays out is both sticky and toxic. When this spider gets about a half inch from her prey, she'll then vibrate her fangs at 1,800 times a second while spraying out this venom-laden silk concoction, coating the prey in a zigzag pattern and pinning it to the ground.
A black-tailed scorpion, out for a takeaway meal, is about to find out how deadly the silky spit can be. The scorpion grabs a leg. Its sting searches for a weak spot, but it doesn't count on a sticky barrage. Traveling at around 70 miles per hour, the toxic silk hits the target and immediately contracts, gluing the scorpion to the tree. With that deadly stinger out of action, the spitting spider moves in for the kill. One bite, and the venom destroys the scorpion's nervous system.
For a spider this small to bring down a scorpion really shows the power of the weapon that she's packing.
This huge meal supplies energy for a new batch of spitting silk, and she will need it. When she finds out the rufous comb-footed spider has moved in next door, there'll be no love thy neighbor.
This is a fight that's bound to end in bloodshed. I'm just not sure whose.
A rufous comb-footed spider settles into her new home. Her one thought is to protect her eggs. But a fully armed spitting spider is about to invade her nursery. The spitting spider fires off toxic silk. The rufous comb-footed spider retaliates with silk wrapping. Whoever wins that battle finishes off their foe with venom. The invader tiptoes across the web. The rufous combfoot is fully aware she has company. She leapfrogs out of spitting range. Her attacker fires, but is off target. The combfoot heads for cover, leaving her eggs exposed.
Even when her own safety is on the line, the rufous comb-footed spiders guard their egg sacs and defend it.
The spitting spider fires again. But with one leg guarding her precious eggs, the combfoot mounts a silk-throwing counterattack. The spitting spider fires back. She keeps firing, but she's run out of silk. Rufus moves in and wraps her opponent in a silk shroud.
Well, that sure didn't go according to plan. The spitting spider picked a fight with the wrong spider on the wrong day, and it's toast.
No matter how formidable your weapon, if you run out of ammunition, you're finished. When a tiger assassin bug and a silverback cross spider meet for dinner, only one will enjoy the victory feast. On any day in this Costa Rican jungle clearing, you'll find an unlikely hunter prowling the petals. With a cumbersome body and an alien head, the tiger assassin bug looks more like a clown than a killer. But there's nothing amusing about this predator.
They'll eat pretty much anything that they can handle, any small arthropod.
Bulbous compound eyes, attuned to color and movement, are constantly on the lookout for prey. When it strikes, thick front legs tipped with twin gripping claws pin the victim down. When an herbivorous katydid gets a tap on the shoulder, it doesn't even have time to leap clear. Ending its days impaled on one of the bug world's strangest and most effective weapons. Part dagger, part hypodermic needle. When the proboscis punctures flesh, the horror's only just beginning.
Once it's in, it starts injecting this nasty, nasty, paralyzing fluid that immediately makes its prey go immobile. Then it starts pouring digestive juices into the prey.
Having its main strike weapon attached to its face means the tiger assassin bug must always get dangerously close to its victim. But the silverback cross spider prefers to remain out of the firing line.
She sits there facing downward, with the pairs of legs arranged like a cross. Now, this is partially behavioral camouflage, but it also allows her to monitor each quadrant of the web simultaneously.
The silverback cross spider also lets her web take the hard work out of hunting. Thick silk patterns called stabilimentum reflect ultraviolet light.
Insects that collect flower pollen are drawn to any ultraviolet light source. So by putting the stablementa in the web, the spider is being ingenious. Not only is it attracting the pollen gatherers, but it's also attracting their insect predators.
Any flying, jumping insect is at risk. Within seconds, this katydid is trapped in a silken spin cycle.
When she reaches the prey, she'll begin throwing silk around it as fast as she can, but using her long legs to keep it at a distance. Once it's safely hogtied, then she'll move in and deliver the venom.
Her snack disposed of, the silverback cross spider settles back into her web. Her shape and sheen break up her silhouette, making her almost impossible for many animals to see. But if there's clear and present danger, she'll adopt a bizarre defensive strategy.
The silverback will start bouncing the web back and forth, adding a little bit of energy every time until the entire thing becomes a blur. It makes it impossible for a predator to focus on the spider, let alone catch it.
But the silverback isn't the only seasoned killer in this jungle clearing. Will its silky skins be enough to defeat a trained assassin? Night in the leafy killing fields. A tiger assassin bug is poised to attack a silverback cross spider. But she's not intimidated. There will be war. The tiger assassin bug has a stabbing proboscis that injects toxic saliva. The silverback cross spider throws strong silk to immobilize its victim before finishing it off with venom. The assassin bug crash lands in the spider's lair. The owner rushes over. She hesitates, sensing danger. Then, in a blur of wrapping, she pulls out silk like bandages. The tiger is trapped. Or is she? The silverback tries to make sure.
This spider species venom isn't particularly strong, but it's still adequate for the job. Now that she's delivered the first dose, she'll sit back, wait for it to take effect, and then move in for the kill and collect her bounty.
Hoping her victim poses no further threat, the silverback cautiously returns. But the tiger has one final surprise. Its proboscis stabs through the silk, dripping with toxic saliva.
The assassin bug would still love to get its proboscis and paralyze the spider that's attacking it.
The tiger assassin bug tries to stab, but the silverback carefully keeps her foe at a safe distance, until eventually The venom claims the feisty assassin's life.
That battle may have been lost, but it made a valiant attempt to survive.
The silverback cross spider will never know how close she came to sharing her victim's fate.